like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Yes. Rich Appleby.
Present.
Ann Varsine. Present. Mary Grisheva.
Present.
Paula Freepartner.
Present.
Lynn Hobbs.
Present.
Margie Weber.
Present.
Carolyn Kinsella. Present.
Okay, we're going to do things out of order a little bit this evening because our auditor is here, Brian Martin from Zabel and Associates, and he's going to present the annual audit. Yeah.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Sure.
All right, great. Well, you all should have a copy of the independent auditor's report there in front of you. I believe you've received an electronic copy as well. I don't know if you have any questions, but if you do, feel free to interrupt me as we're going along, and I'll try to hit the highlights for you. If you go past the table of contents to page 1, you'll see our independent auditor's report, and you'll see we conducted our audit as of June 30th, which is your fiscal year end. We did so using generally accepted auditing standards, and as a result, we're issuing a clean opinion. Basically means no misappropriations noted that are material, and no going concerns noted as well. After our audit opinion, which is 2 pages, there's an insert section separately labeled at the bottom with MD&A in front of it. This is kind of the executive summary of the report, and if you see there the second bullet point under financial highlights there, you'll see the library's total net position increased by $12,655. So that's kind of the bottom line summary for the year. Also in this section, if you look forward a couple pages, to page MD&A page 4, you'll see our kind of summarized results for the year relative to your fiscal year 2020. So if you note there, charges for services went down, obviously a result of the pandemic. Property taxes increased, that's a result of your levy, which you're always a year behind collecting. And other revenues there are sorted. Total revenues went from $732,000 to $761,000 for the year. You can see their expenses decreased from $860,000 to $749,258, and that's what resulted there in your positive $12,655. Again, if you have questions, feel free to interrupt me. I'd like to take a couple minutes and go through each fund, but before I do that, if you flip to the back page with me, the very end of the report, you'll see your assessed valuations, tax rates, tax extensions, and so if you look at that, we have the last 2 years there, Grundy County broken up versus LaSalle County. You'll see there is a significant assessed valuation increase in both counties, really between 2019 and 2020. The next, lower part there is tax extensions, and so what those are items specific on your levy that have to be used for those specified purposes. And so you have your corporate, building, Aup Audit, liability insurance, and Social Security, all told their total extension, which largely has been paid now, probably hasn't been fully distributed to you yet. That's $746,900. That's what you're collecting this fiscal. I kind of give you that breakdown for those funds just so we can kind of follow your funds and know exactly what we need to talk about there. General fund, which is your corporate, that's on page 24 and 25. If you flip back to those, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds in all of those, but page 24 kind of breaks down your total revenues and your total expenditures relative to your budget, and then page 25 shows 36 months worth of expenditures. Last year, in your general fund, you spent $567,000. You're ending up with $259,000, which is within that 3 to 6 month window. So feel comfortable where that balance is at.
I do have a quick question on page 24. That says, there's a column there that says the original and final budget, and then the actual.
Yep.
So should the numbers from that column of the original and final budget match what we have for our budget that we
It needs
just
to match,
recently?
well, it needs to match your year ago budget, the one that would have been for this fiscal year. So the one you recently did would be for your fiscal year in 2022, June 30th.
Okay.
So, so if you go back, that's, I mean, exactly what we used to draft up the report is,
Right.
is that ordinance, so, is that?
So on our, like on our financial worksheet, our budget worksheet, where it says the budget for 2021, those numbers should kind of relatively be.
Right.
Okay, I'm just wondering if we're working on the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, if I understand it right.
You
Okay.
got it.
Thanks.
Page 26 is your capital reserve fund. In there, all that, you didn't spend any money out of that fund last year, so you $5,587 of interest. Ended up with a fund balance there of $329,961, which again, that's reserved for capital projects. Page 27 is your building funds, which again, just as a reminder, you have a separate levy for that. You brought in $52,265 and spent out $37,226, leaving you with a surplus there of $15,039 and a fund balance of $99,361. The next couple pages have to deal with your funding of your IMRF. And I could probably talk for the rest of the night, put you all to sleep about that. But, you know, just to kind of give you a brief summary, and page 30 is probably the page to really look at. The district is a participant in the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. Once the district decided to participate in that, you don't get out of that. The only thing you as a board can do is control who is eligible as far as employees. And that's based on their hourly working requirements and meeting that. So it is a fully funded plan, and employees put 4.5% of their money in it, and then the district gets told by IMRF how much they get fund based on their actuarial assumptions and where you're at in regards to that. But if you look at page 30 there, you'll see your kind of funding progress over the last 7 years, from 2014 to 2020. And you can see, you know, mostly it hovered around the 80%. This year jumped up a little bit, from 83% funded to 89% funded. So mostly there, I'll say. You know, again, you're gradually inching there towards 100%. I would expect, you know, realize that this reporting gets done as of December 31st, and your fiscal year is June 30th. The market would have gone up in between those two time periods, so probably the number's a little bit better even than what would be reflected. So, again, I don't have any cause for concern there. I just like you to be aware that it's slightly underfunded, but you're working your way towards that. So, effectively, what happens with these pensions is they kind of put a 30-year mortgage on you, and eventually they want you to get there. They don't expect you to get there overnight.
Did you say when did the library adopt this? Is it 2014, or is that when the?
Oh, I thought it was well before that.
Okay.
Yeah, well before that. I haven't been working with your folks for a long time, and it's been around a long time.
Okay.
Again, like I said, the only thing you can do there is control who's
Right.
eligible and costs. After page 30, there's an insert section. It's the divider page, and then we have page 31, or page 32. If you get to page 33, Again, just to kind of note, as far as the different funds there, you have audit fund, FICA, which is Social Security, working cash, which has no activity, and then IMRF, and then your insurance fund there. I think of note, if you don't want to take anything out of this, I'll say your audit fund is probably slightly overfunded. What do I mean by that? Well, on your next levy, my recommendation would be to levy a little less dollars there, just because you're not going to spend that $20,000 balance in a 2-year period, and that's kind of the rule of thumb. Once you're over 2 years, you have too much there. I'll say.
What page are you at?
Page 33. So the first column there is the audit fund. If you look, you levied $11,000 in tax, you spent $6,900, so a surplus of $4,197, which took you from $16,000 in fund balance up to $20,000. And I guess particularly what I'm looking at is you're not going to spend that $20,000 in a 2-year period, and so my advice would be lower that audit fund levy. If you want to keep levying the same amount, that's fine, but put it in one of your other levy categories, whether that's corporate or probably corporate. Social Security, that's your FICA fund, that's the second column, that looks okay. IMRF, again, you brought in 32,000, spent 41, you're ending with a fund balance of 71,000 in there, which is almost 2 years worth there. So, again, I think the path that you're going there, which is working that one down, is a good one. And likewise with insurance. So that kind of summarizes all your funds. Do you have any other questions regarding anything? It's had a positive fiscal year. So good report from that end, and I'll tell you the reports you've been getting from Sheila are accurate. So you're seeing on a monthly basis accurate numbers, which I think we can take on.
Were you, I don't know, there's some question were you guys informed of the situation that we are kind of dealing with? And was that taken into account when doing this audit?
Absolutely, yeah. So there was 3, and I'm just taking out my notes here. There was 3 particular items that I believe were in question. The first one was the health savings account being done correctly. We were able to verify all those calculations were done properly, and I believe that you're aware of that. The second question was relating to an address on a visa for Carol Stream. The QuickBooks showed up as Florida. All payments there were posted correctly. No missing money in regards to that. And then the last one was related to the ComEd refund of $5,000, and we were able to provide proof where that was put into the bank.
So those were the 3 things that was brought to your attention that you guys looked into?
Those are the 3 things that were brought to my attention.
Was that in writing anywhere?
It was. I have the email that was originally sent, and it was not in the engagement letter, it was in a management disclosure letter. And I think it also mentioned wage garnishments, and that was the only other real item on there. There were some miscellaneous unsubstantiated allegations that we had no information or specific allegation made, just miscellaneous statements. so, when the auditors were here, I came in and I reviewed our files with them. But yes, it was in the, management disclosure letter that was sent, pretty much at the same time as the
Correct.
engagement letter.
We should probably have a copy of that, record it with all of this.
Any other questions or concerns, or?
Just out of curiosity.
Mm-mm. The public is not supposed to ask questions right now?
No.
This is not
No.
an open comments.
What's the standard fee for doing our audit, you know, what it is, you know?
I wanna say we're in the 4,000 range, somewhere in there, you'd have to pull it back out.
Alright.
So everything that was expended in the audit fund is not our fee, so that, part of that goes to
Sure,
share.
okay.
I don't have that on.
I believe
And it would
it's
be in the engagement letter.
It is in the engagement letter. I didn't bring a copy of that.
If you have that, it'll be on, probably towards the end.
Yeah, I know. Okay, it says will not exceed 4,400. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you very
And I-
much,
and-
appreciate it.
And absolutely, we're available for further questions if you have any concerns or anything.
And this one is being filed with the state.
With the state, and then also there's a comptroller's report that will be filed.
Who does that filing?
We actually handle it, but, you guys authorize that.
Is there a reason why the last two were filed with the comptroller's office?
They should have been.
Okay.
Because they don't have them.
What's that?
I don't think they have them.
No.
You don't think they have?
The auditing company that I've been working with, pulled it up rather quickly and said the last one that was filed was for year 2018.
Yeah, that's incorrect. We can provide.
That would be good. I think
Yeah.
that would be appropriate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy to.
Yeah, we didn't know, like, who would have been responsible for filing that, so, you know, you don't know who to ask or what, but, that's what I was told, so, yeah, you can look at it, thank you.
We make sure that that's okay.
Okay, Mary, financial people, are we okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Appreciate it.
guys. Thank you. You will want to make sure that you accept the audit and place it on file.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's on our agenda.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, wait a minute. I misspoke.
Accept.
Oh,
It'll be on our agenda next month.
there you go. Thank you.
Well, then we have a chance to look it over. Okay, are there any corrections or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, it's time for public comment then. Jen?
What's the status of the hotspots? Are we gonna ever see them since they're almost 3.5 years old? Next week from tomorrow, so they were purchased 3.5 years ago. We were gonna get back to that, never did. Is the public ever gonna see those or be able to use those?
and I have had a discussion concerning those, and I feel that some of them should be out there with the public. It means that we have to go back, Beacon just contacted us just recently too, and it's $120 to get those functional, each one for a year. And my feeling is we should probably do some of them. We have 7.
But you started with 10.
We start with 10, correct.
Do we know where,
I know one was lost, destroyed.
I paid for that one.
I know you did, Mary. I know you did, and that's what I was gonna say. I know one was lost in Mary's fire, and she has reimbursed the library for that. Do we know what happened to the other
We
two?
do not know what happened to the other 2, because it was very poor record keeping as to who had them. But we do have 7. I'm not sure that we have the money to do it. You wanna?
Yes, we have recently applied for emergency connectivity fund grant.
Can you, I'm sorry, can you speak up?
Sure,
Or,
I'm sorry. Yeah, we have recently applied for emergency connectivity fund grant. And as part of this grant, we included hotspots. The way this grant is working, or it's written, you have to provide brand of what you're going to purchase, and also provide service companies that you're going to use. For instance, if you're buying hotspots, which service company you're going to use. And the technology changes rapidly, and I wasn't sure if, I didn't know the whole history of other older hotspots, so I included 5 new hotspots with service in this grant application. If it's approved, we're going to get newer technology hotspots, and but at the same time we can revisit what we have already. But I've heard that there were some issues with service. It doesn't work well, and I haven't had enough time to study this, and because if it offers spotty service and it's not consistent, I'm not sure it's a good idea to release it to our public for checkout. It's
Well, I don't know, I may be wrong here, but.
I'm sorry, was this on the agenda?
Oh,
And
I'm
we
sorry.
really should.
This is a OMA violation. We
Yeah,
can't
it
go there.
is. For the director's report, you can do
Sure.
it then.
yeah.
Okay.
That would be
Sorry.
appropriate.
Okay, we were, Jen. Jen brought this up, okay. We're supposed to come in.
I just asked what happened to them.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
I'm Mary Ann Terry, and thank you for taking my comment. I guess I just had one thing to say. If I was sitting in any of the directors, of the library directors' board's chairs, and there was all kinds of questions and accusations going around this town, like it really is, I would want a forensic audit done yesterday instead of months and months into it. I can't believe it's taking this long to get a forensic audit done. And I would want to prove my innocence. I would want to say to the community, no, we didn't do anything wrong. But when you don't want a forensic audit, it really does make people question, were you doing something wrong? So I think it should have been done months ago. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Becky Siegel Hardy. Haven't been here in a while, so to meet you. Very nice to meet the new director. Been really promising what's been, changes that have been made. I think the community is really excited to see some of your ideas and your knowledge and your welcome change. So, I wanted to address a couple things that Mr. Martin had said. question always was where that deposit came from, who paid that deposit, where those funds came from. I requested that from the board through emails several times in the past. I've asked in person and still never got that answer. So that part of where it came from, who authorized that, how it was paid, was never answered. He did address that one of the card payments is verified, and that's great, that it's going to the right place. But there were several others that were questionable, not just one. Who the waste management checks are made out to in the records was questionable. And it's great that we heard this review, for this, last year, that's great, and things are checking, we're not questioning that, the public hasn't questioned that. There have been changes, and a couple of problems have been eradicated from the picture, so things clearly should be balancing and adding up, but years past still are not. So that's not gonna go away. There's really great changes that are happening that people are super excited about. There's a good relationship starting to happen with the public. I think a lot of people are okay with that. There's part of this that's in a great path, and that's wonderful, but there's a lot of the public that's not okay with questioning the discrepancies under the rug, especially with questionable law involved now. So, also there is, 2 members of the community that are willing to pay privately for a forensic audit. They could have a check to the library as of Monday. I'm not gonna say any names on record, if anybody wants that information. You can speak to me, or not object to 2 people need to discuss it. So I wanted to put that on the record that there are people in the public willing to pay out of their pocket. It would not be the library's expense for the forensic audit. So I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be a possibility.
Anybody else? Dee?
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Can't hear you, Dee.
Okay. When you did the disclosures, did you speak with all the board members, or is it just the email that I saw earlier where you talked to Paula, Amy, and Dawn? I just don't feel like we're working as a board the way we should. I didn't hear the gentleman
Pardon me, can you clarify what disclosure you're talking about?
for the audit, the disclosures for the audit. Did you
The
get?
management disclosure.
Did you get
required meeting date ordinance was posted July 1st of 2021, and it only has 6 valid dates on it for fiscal year '22. Your tort funds are being used for salary, but the district does not have any job descriptions on file, and they do not have a risk management plan. Internal controls, page 39 of 76 in your manual, your policy manual, says the director, the treasurer, and the auditor are responsible for maintaining proper procedures, systems to prevent loss, theft, and misuse of funds. And to the point of the financial policies that came back none. I further pass that along to the PAC, thinking maybe, you were withholding that from me, and the PAC confirmed there are no policies, and they're not withholding it.
May I comment on that? I think that would have been an error because we do have financial policies in 2016. I think that wasn't a genuine error in what was provided to you that way.
Anyone else? Okay, public comment closed then. We'll go on to the approval of minutes. September 15th, 2021, regular board meeting minutes.
I have a correction to the public comment. Both Donna Cade and Jennifer Billieu requested forensic audits. So that have to be corrected.
Okay, thank you. So, any other corrections? So we need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes with corrections. Need a second?
Second.
Okay, Margie is second. Roll call.
It's been moved and seconded that the September 15th, 2021 regular board meeting minutes be accepted with the correction and addition of the word forensic to describe the audit in public comment. Roll call vote. Let's see. Grisheva?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Appleby?
Yes.
Barcy?
Yes.
Kinsella, yes. Three partner?
Yes. Okay, you have in front of you a copy of the September 15th executive session minutes. All we're doing is approving the minutes as submitted. We are not approving any minutes for release. A motion to accept those minutes.
I don't think I got a copy of that.
No, I do not either.
Oh, they're right in front of you, right there.
No, this is
Oh, I'm
something
sorry.
totally separate.
I handed them out earlier. I
Oh,
apologize.
we got it. Well, we got two.
We got two?
Well, there's two different
Two different meetings.
Oh,
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't have
September.
one.
Okay.
Okay, and then I need them back. I apologize for that. That was my error before. I thought
Lynn, do
you
you
got them
have?
earlier. You read them, because you handed them back to me. Okay, I apologize for that.
We're looking at the September 15 one right now?
Yes.
Yes, September 15th executive session minutes.
I think it's accurate.
Okay, I need a motion for approval.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, need a second? Okay, Ann?
Okay, it's been moved by and seconded to approve the executive session minutes from September 15th, to approve as submitted but not approved for release. Roll call vote. Rich?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Margie?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
And Kinsella, yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the October 7th, 2021 special board meeting minutes. Need a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Lynn, second?
Thank you. It's been moved by Weber and seconded by Hobbs to accept as written the special board meeting minutes of October 7. Roll call vote? Yes? Weber?
Yes.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Appleby?
Yes.
Barcy?
Yes.
Grisheva?
Yes.
Free partner?
Yes.
And Kinsella, yes.
Okay, next is the October 7th, 2021 executive session minutes.
That's what we just did.
No,
No,
we did the
no.
September
We did special.
15. This is
We did
October,
October 7th, the special board.
Special
meetings.
board meeting,
but not the executive
but
session.
not the executive.
Yes.
Okay.
It is confusing.
The executive session of the special board meeting that we held on October 7th.
Okay.
And that should be the sheet that was with,
I gave it to you with the,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, that's what we just turned back.
Yes.
Gotcha. This.
So I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Oh.
a second for that motion, please?
Second.
Okay, Ann?
It's been moved and seconded to accept the executive session minutes for the special board meeting of October 7, 2021, to be approved as submitted but not approved for release. Appleby?
Yes.
Barcy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Grisheva?
Yes.
Kinsella, yes. Free partner?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're down to the September 16th, 2021 Personnel Committee meeting minutes. Motion for approval?
Motion. I'll make that motion.
Okay, Ann made the motion, second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mary?
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Personnel Committee meeting minutes from September 16, 2021 as written. Roll call vote, Barcy?
Yes.
Grisheva?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Appleby?
Yes.
Kinsella, yes. Free partner?
Yes. Okay, September 17th, 2021, the Policy Committee meeting minutes.
I move that we accept the Policy Committee meeting minutes as written.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Policy Committee meeting of minutes of September 17, 2021. Kinsella, yes. Weber?
Yes.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Appleby?
Yes.
Grisheva?
Yes.
Barcy?
Yes.
Free partner?
Yes. The September 18, 2021 Building and Maintenance Committee meeting minutes.
I don't know if anybody printed theirs out, but mine came out with, it said October 20th at the top instead of September 18th.
It's when it was typed.
Okay.
Yeah, that was when it's typed. It's
Okay,
not the
so
actual.
we're okay with that?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that we had the correct date
Yeah.
on the minutes to sign. Okay, thank you.
So I need a motion
Yeah.
to approve the building and maintenance. Richie, were there any
Nope.
corrections?
Yeah, I was there. I'm giving Margie a moment here to.
For some reason, I didn't get this one printed.
Here's an extra one.
Okay.
Okay, this is fair and accurate of what happened, so I'll make that motion.
Okay, a second for that motion, please?
Oh, I got
I'll second it.
Who was that?
it. Mary.
Mary, okay.
It's been moved by Appleby and seconded by Grisheva that the Building and Maintenance Committee meeting minutes be approved as written for September 18, 2021. Appleby?
Yes.
Grisheva?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Barcy?
Yes.
Kinsella, yes. Free partner?
Yes.
That's a lot of minutes.
Yeah, and it's just like, gonna be like that almost every month.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we got
We're
things to
busy.
approve.
Yeah.
We're busy, that's right.
Okay, we're to the treasurer's financial report.
Okay. Turning the page. looking at the fund activity investment balances for September. We had a special reserve OSB CD come due this month. And after consultation with Yana, I renewed it for a shorter term of 6 months, which is consistent with what we've been discussing at the board meetings for funds in general, hoping for increases in interest rate. And Yana is also trying to look at other avenues of investment that would be legal for a public entity.
So this one was renewed for 6 months?
It was renewed for 6. I would have done 3, but they didn't offer it.
Okay. Well, 6 is,
It's the first special reserve fund, OSBCD.
it's a little more than halfway.
So so that one now matures.
6 months.
6 months from now.
Yes.
It wasn't 18 months.
wasn't
That's why it
18
says
months.
18 months.
And now it's going to be a 6 month.
I'm not. Am I looking at the
Go
right?
down, bring your thumb down on that.
Under special
There we
reserve
go.
fund.
Okay.
There you go.
Gotcha. Okay, so that went there.
Okay. And then if you look at the financial report for September, we are 25% of the way through the year. We did receive 41,000 in property taxes this year, so we are pretty much about done. We are 98% of budget there. We've had a large amount of copies this last month. I was asking Yana, if that was due to anything in particular.
I noticed that too,
No.
yeah.
It's just, we took in $326 for copying fees. For us, that's a lot. Going down to the disbursements, we have pretty much used the money that we had set aside for the temporary worker, and we are done with having to pay out of that particular account. For the insurance, if you look at that, that's insurance and safety equipment things. We spent $3,600 there, and there was a quarterly Johnson Controls bill. There were some signs. There was an orphan visit. So it's all fairly typical expenses there. Yana, I was going to ask, do we still have that outstanding disputed Johnson Controls bill?
We don't.
Done?
We don't have it anymore.
Awesome.
But I'll add it, I'll
You'll
talk about it in
talk
my
about it?
report, yeah.
Perfect. The programming, we are at only less than 6% spent, which is a little bit of a concern. And in talking to Yana, she basically has said that the amount of time being spent on FOIAs is getting in the way of doing programming work. However, Anna is about to place a large programming order, and they do have some ideas percolating, and they're working on those. And so they hope to be making some progress on planning our programming as appropriate. And the collection is sort of the same thing. We're down at about 12% collection when you'd expect to spend about 25% of your budget by now. And we have not yet used any of our credit money either for the collection. And I'll let Yana talk about this, but she had mentioned that they're interested in working on a collection policy. And the cash deposits happened about twice this month. I think the goal is going to be every week.
Yes, it's been, for the last 3 weeks, it's been every week.
So I think we're getting on track with that.
I have just a quick question on that report. Under public relations, what is considered or what would be put into that column? What expenses fall under public relations?
Is that
It used to be
radio
radio,
ad?
I
It
realize
used to
that, it
be
used to
the
be radio.
radio, I
Would the
think-
newsletter, the cost to do the newsletter, or is that printing, or is that, I'm just wondering,
That's down too, because we're doing the electronic.
right,
Mhm.
yeah,
Right,
that's, and that was my
exactly.
next question, was the September, October one was electronically, right? I mean, there were printed ones here at the library to
Yeah.
grab, but they didn't go out in everyone's box anymore.
Right.
Right, okay.
And so I think the change there is what made I don't think we would have wanted to totally kill off.
Oh, no,
the-
no, I'm just
the
asking, I'm just
thing.
kind of, I'm just
No.
But
asking
that
just
is,
for,
that's what we
in the
used to
future.
do those things.
was the radio, okay.
Yes.
So, but there is a little small budget there to do some
we
things,
got
if something
3,000.
came up that we could
Exactly.
pursue.
Well, now more than ever, I think it's important that we have that money there for something
Oh,
in the
yeah,
future.
definitely, yeah. Yeah, I have an idea for in the future that we'll talk about at some point. Okay, I just was wondering about that, thank you.
Okay, we need a motion. Is that part done, that we can do the motion?
Yes.
Okay, we need a motion to file, the financial report for audit.
Oh, that is,
Hmm?
to file the financial report for audit.
Yes.
Oh, that's this. Never
That's
mind.
this month's financial report for
Never
audit
mind.
next year. Yeah, that's what confused
My,
me.
my brain,
That's
yeah.
that's
And that-
exactly
Yep.
what got me when Brian was walking
Yeah,
out.
that's what I was thinking, is Brian, that's
Yeah.
where my mind was
No,
confused.
we don't have that on the agenda, we'll have
And
to do it next week. next
By
month.
the financial report, that's the actual title financial report and the fund activity?
Yes,
Just those two?
yes.
Okay, gotcha.
We,
Yeah,
we
that's okay.
approve the bills, we do not
That's
file
separate,
them,
right,
yes.
okay.
So we need a motion.
I will make the motion.
I'll second.
I'm behind.
Motion, second.
I got it now.
All right.
It was moved by Appleby and seconded by Hobbs that we are to accept the financial report and financial, working budget report for audits.
Yes.
Hobbs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Marcy.
Yes.
Rochelle.
Gianna, was there any explanation from them as to why it And was that figure actually in that contract
Yes.
initially?
Yes.
Thank you.
I hope that, it was there and we could just easily remember it, but it was there. And it's
Wow, okay. Thank you.
billing. AT&T's relationship with us is finalized with the credit being refunded of $10, and we're done with AT&T.
So we have no more relationship with AT&T.
No.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
Yes,
Oh.
I'm sorry. There is a new bill of $5 from AT&T.
$5.
But it turns out that the $10 refund was for domestic service. But they didn't charge us for,
AT&T.
They had to get their
I-
last little bit of skin.
yeah.
We gotta love them.
There was another $5, and that's it.
Mary, you just mentioned the Visa statement. The Visa was
Mhm.
$680.
Mhm.
There's another Visa on the beginning of this.
Oh, thank you, sorry. Right, that was the August 18th
That was the
visa,
August.
and then the 17th of September was the 680.
So is it August 18th, that's the date that the bill was generated?
I
Not
believe
when the
so.
bill was due?
I believe so.
Okay. We're a little ahead, that's good.
Okay, any other questions for Mary for the, bills?
So the bill payment down, it's just a little quirk here. Why is that 00 QuickBook generated 0 transaction for the AT&T? It's down at the very end, bill payment check on 9/30.
I don't know.
There's another one there.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not a,
I
I'm not a
just-
QuickBooks expert, I don't know
Yeah, I don't either. I
why.
thought that was kind of unique.
There's a-
It might have been that there was some sort of reminder in there to pay it, and I have no idea.
There's one for
I'm just
Amazon, too.
grossly
Right, I
speculating.
saw that.
Yeah.
I just
Amazon
wondered what
had it.
those 00s were on the QuickBook, and it's just a question because when you look at them, then they seem kind of strange. Yeah, I have that one.
Oh, okay. I will have to ask Sheila.
Okay,
Because there is a reason for it, and I can't recall the exact reason. It is a bookkeeping thing.
yeah, and I just wondered what it was, just for explanation.
I'm
How about the
sorry.
AC, that's okay.
I can't
Just if
remember.
you can ask, that would be great. And how about the ACT systems where it was the stop payment and then reissued?
Yeah, he lost the check.
Did we lose
John
a
said,
check?
yes.
It got
Not
lost in
us.
the mail? Is
Yes.
that,
Or
okay.
He
Yes.
never received.
He never received it. He never received
I assumed
it.
that's what
Yeah.
it was. I just
Yeah.
wanted to verify.
Yeah, and
That's
we
all.
checked with our bank, and it was
They had-
chaos,
yeah.
and we had to stop and pay
Yeah.
$40.
I know, stop payments are expensive,
Yeah.
but you gotta do what you gotta do.
And then, okay, so then that was replaced.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not part of the very first one, on this report for 2001-60, then, that's separate, that's in July, I see, okay.
Yeah.
ACT, that does the computer
Yeah.
networking and all that stuff, are all the new computers in now?
Yeah,
They are, thank you,
yeah.
okay.
And functioning? And functioning fine?
And function.
Okay, I just
Well,
That's
wanted to
true,
make
it's a
sure.
good point.
I just wanted to make sure, I'm sorry. It's technology is my,
It's your gig.
Yeah.
Yep.
and we'll talk hotspots someday, so
There we go.
I know all about it.
Great,
Too much,
Great.
never too much.
too much.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the bills?
Yep.
I would do that.
Okay, Margie, second?
I'll second.
Ann?
It's been moved by Weber and seconded by Barcy that bills be approved as paid. Weber,
Yes.
Barcy,
Yes.
Grisheva,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Kinsella, yes, Free Partner.
Yes. Okay, we're down to the president's report, and Carolyn and I attended a Rails Zoom meeting this morning. And my reasoning for attending it was that, in about another year, we're going to have to do a strategic planning plan. And Carolyn is a great advocate for, as executive secretary of IO, she is a great advocate for schools and hoping that Rails will do more for schools. I think we both found that it was very beneficial, and I really enjoyed it. My only problem was I was on the phone and it didn't work too well for the last part of it. So we both attended the Future Ready Library, and I think we both got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
So it was a good day.
May I interject?
Sure.
Okay. It was Rails is having these town hall meetings, and this was their first, and then they will have a second round, if you look in your Rails in November. And anybody can sign up to do them, and they're having some in the evening and some in the morning or afternoon, so that people working and whatever can still attend. So even if you missed this one, you can still attend the other one. And they truly are asking for, there were trustees, there were public librarians, there were school librarians, there were special librarians, one was an IT, one was from a lawyer's firm, a law firm. So they really are trying to get a feel for what the Rails libraries, all different types and all different places, want and need, so they can develop their strategic plan. So it was, it was a good 2 hours spent.
Yeah. Those next meetings start November 15th if you're interested in, and we were left with a question, what do you wish Rails could do for you? And what would you dream Rails could do for you? And the sky's the limit. So, and what projects and services do you want from Rails? It was, those are future questions in a sense. Okay, director's report.
We've changed employment status of the temporary staff to permanent part-time, and the staffing agency has agreed to break our 12-month contract without penalty. Held all library staff meeting. Implemented free online scheduling program to improve coordination among staff. Ordered new time punch cards for staff to simplify payroll process. Created the key inventory to account for all library keys. Reduced monthly phone service bill from $175 to $95 by disconnecting 4 unutilized phone lines and combining phone and fax services. We are expecting $325 refund for the annual organizational membership in the American Library Association. Our library was built as if we were medium-sized, while we are very small. Expecting $1,400 refund from Johnson Controls for duplicate quarterly payment in June 2021. And the other invoice that's been in our file since April, they don't have it in their system anymore. But it was the problem that's been going on for several months, and we have fixed it. So there may be another bill if they put their accounting together and find, but we should pay for this, but not later. But that old bill is not under our account anymore. Applied for the $6,500 emergency connectivity fund grant with the Federal Communication Commission. We are eligible to potentially receive the Illinois Emergency Management Agency funding for COVID-19 related expenses. And we are in the process of working on this grant. The grant expired on, the deadline to apply expired on October 18th, but FEMA expected that it would be extended, and they've extended it because there is still, we are not over COVID yet. So we have time to apply, and we are gathering all our receipts for all our COVID-related expenses, and we'll try to get reimbursements. And we we have a very good contact at Illinois FEMA who's helping us with all our paperwork, and
They may reimburse us for all COVID expenses?
I hope so. I don't know, but
Oh, that's a
I'm
good chunk.
I'm
They
getting,
could,
I'm getting all documentation, everything we have.
yes, get everything you can, because
Yeah.
there's a lot that falls under that umbrella.
Yeah, and I hope that we might include that study that was done for redirected air.
Oh,
You
yes.
should be able to include that too.
Should be,
Yes,
right?
it should
Yes,
be.
you should be.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would be a biggie.
Yeah, we are working on it, and it looks promising, but we'll see. I'm reviewing various library vendor online interfaces to streamline workflows and improve security. We established a dedicated email account for the FOIA requests and updated the FOIA webpage with the mandatory information about the library. Due to the IP address change, the library had intermittent domain name connection problems. We were not notified of the IP address change by our internet provider, but we brought two parties together and resolved the problem. A repaired patron count gate at the library entrance, replaced 9 emergency lights, built shelves in the cultural center closets to store supplies, repaired the library entrance door, which for a long time was not functioning properly. And that's, Mary, that's what this invoice from Johnson Controls was for, that they, yeah. We are reviewing a possible extension of the library hours, monitoring patron traffic patterns on Thursdays between 6 and 8. And I'm clearing the backlog that still remains.
Did you say that Johnson Controls was, who fixed the doors?
Yes. They came over maybe 5 times during my time here, and
Okay.
they were, it was the same problem, we couldn't lock our front doors. Or lock, they would lock when they were not supposed to lock.
It's all on a time
It's
system
all
or something like
automated.
that?
And they
Automated,
needed
yeah.
to reprogram it, and it's been going on since April. And in April, they billed us for it, and we never paid because they never repaired. And now this bill doesn't exist anymore, and they finally fixed it right now, and they will most likely bill us right now.
So they'll generate a new bill.
They'll generate a new bill but they seem to be, I think they will, but they keep sending us random invoices. So I have to call them every time I get an invoice for something that they didn't do. But it's right now everything is clear. As of now, they owe us $1,400 refund.
Just looking at your transactions, and in September, there was no Access 360 checked out, or was that?
No, we removed it, there is some.
Oh, okay, I missed that, okay.
I
I had the original one,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
That's, I
Oh,
thought that
I
was
do
on.
too,
I
because
thought that
that's
was on.
what's,
It's in the new one.
how much is it?
35, okay, that's in line with everything
No,
else.
that's,
Yeah, you know, 2 of those are fine, but that's okay.
There was some issues with access to the database, and
Oh, was it?
I didn't have this information on Friday, and
That's
then
fine.
on Monday,
You got it in.
we got it, yeah.
Okay, so, how about, I just had a question with, I was just curious, with Interlibrary Loan, I know that we've always, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
I know that we always loan a lot
Yeah.
through ILL.
Yeah.
How much do we loan outside of the Rails Distribution Center, like OCLC, and, we have to ship?
Yeah. I don't have this
Okay.
answer. I haven't had a chance to look at
That's
the
okay.
Interlibrary Loan. And I think that we are thinking, wait, it's too much. I think it should be equal.
More even?
Even, and I plan to figure out why they're doing it. I know that many libraries usually don't land brand new materials, at least if they're published within 6 months or.
Right, and that all goes in with your policy, and
Right,
so,
right.
it was just kind of something that's been
Yeah.
in the back of my brain, and I should have brought it up, differently, but, that sounds like a plan. That's
Yes,
wonderful.
We'll look, but I
It's
don't
not
have an
now,
answer.
oh, no, I'm not asking you to do it now, it was just a question that's been in my brain. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
What's the playaway?
Layaway.
They're like,
is it-
yeah, go
it's-
ahead.
It's some device that they used to, that's not being used anymore, I think.
Oh, I
It's-
think,
it's-
and I discussed that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and we'll probably need to delete it from statistics in the future, or maybe remove it from our circulation, but.
I was gonna say, are there still some in the collection?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, they were fabulous when they came out. You know, 'cause they were, before you could download audiobooks. They were
Yeah.
audiobooks that you could carry with you and put on your headphones.
Yeah,
But they're a little outdated.
Yes.
Well, Hoopla and Libby for audiobooks is the place to be.
I know.
A lot of
I
those
like my
numbers are
Overdrive,
mine.
Yeah, me too.
And
Do we
Overdrive.
really, we have that many DVDs that are checked out? Still, quite a bit of DVD
69.
movies?
Yeah.
You should
Cool.
be in here on Friday afternoon when people come in
Goes
to get
out,
their
yeah.
stash for the whole weekend.
Oh, yeah, we
Really?
check them out all the time.
Those
That's,
of
no,
us
that's
out-
great.
That's
I'm-
wonderful.
Yeah.
Those of us out in the country without cable, satellite internet does not work to stream. And so we rely on the DVDs.
Yeah, I don't do any of that
You
stuff
don't do
either,
it all.
but I just, yeah, I just saw that and
I
thought,
was
well,
happy.
that's an impressive number, really, actually, then.
And I was happy to see the new library cards going up.
Yes, and the number of patrons who attended
Mm-hmm.
programs,
Yes.
87.
Yes, I saw
People.
that too. So those are positives,
Yes.
real positives.
Wonderful.
What were you just saying, Carolyn? I'm sorry, what?
I said the positives of the new library cards, there were 11, and
yeah.
the 87, 85 people for this programming. 87 people for
Being
programming.
consistent with the new people.
Yeah.
Most
Ooh,
every
how was the
month,
movie
11.
yesterday?
It went well, yeah.
I wanted to see. Okay, thank you.
Okay, committee reports, personnel.
Hold on, I'm missing the second page of the agenda. No, that's okay. Personnel, that's me. We met, last Thursday, or the Thursday after our last board meeting. We are going through systematically through the, HR source personnel book and also the existing personnel book and kind of doing a side-by-side comparison, what needs to be updated, what needs to be, noted. Last time we did do some looking at a specific, social media and electronics policy, and we gathered, a couple of those from other libraries and kind of working on that. Tomorrow, we are supposed to have, our next one to kind of finish the HR source book and, make some notes on that. However, and it is posted that it is tomorrow, but we are going to postpone it to Monday. So tomorrow, they will put on the, if we could have someone first thing in the morning, maybe, just same agenda and everything, just change it to Monday at 4 o'clock. Let me make sure, I never did check my calendar. Hold on, because I leave next week and I'm not sure when. Nope, Monday's good, okay. So that's where we are with that.
Okay, the policy committee?
The policy committee met the Friday after the last board meeting, so Friday, September 17. We looked through additions to the policy manual that should be in there that were not. There were also some suggestions for internet and computer policies to look at. Establishing long and short timelines, working with finance and personnel committees to see what overlaps and what doesn't. We don't want to do the same thing twice. And work on establishing the updated internet and computer policies, probably first on the agenda, since those change the fastest. We'd also like to have some discussion about trustee training and to put that as part of our policy as well. So Lynn and I and Paula were at that meeting. Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Building and maintenance?
We met on September 18th. We basically took Cheryl Higgins and a couple of us on a walk around the library, the outside, the inside, nooks and crannies. Cheryl knows where all these things are, and when you look at it, you think, oh, it doesn't need much. There's lots of little things that add up to be, not big things, but for instance, the carpeting in here is got issues, and health issues probably even. So that's one of the, we prioritized everything that we could see and find. There's supposed to be a roof air conditioner. There's an issue with that, right? The air conditioner on the roof, on the north
Yes.
side.
Yes.
Weather stripping, the carpet, all kinds of things. Some seem small, some are medium, and some are,
Some are bigger.
the most important ones, yeah. Cheryl Higgins was very helpful, showing us things and that I wouldn't have been able to feel
There's
comfortable doing.
some of this that's already been taken care of in
Right.
Yana's report.
Yeah.
I want to point out.
Yeah. I
So
think
Yana's
you got
on it.
the- Yeah, Yana got
Yana and
the-
Cheryl are on it, from what I can see.
Yeah.
The closets are done.
Yeah, yes.
Looking at that, I think,
Okay, finance is just there, but,
Yeah.
do you want to
no,
make a comment?
Yeah, I have a,
Okay.
Paula, the June 8th meeting that we had for the finance policy, where we reviewed the 2016 policy and made some recommended changes. The notes were written in such a way that it was difficult for the policy committee to comprehend them without the whole policy sitting in front of them. So Paula took some time, and then I finished it off and sent a copy along to the policy committee, so they'll be able to go ahead and review those. And I am recommending that we go ahead and adopt that policy with an understanding that we're going to initiate a more comprehensive review of financial policy sometime, based on Yana's input, probably the first quarter of 2022, about 3 to 6 months from now is my time frame for really starting to kick into that work. And I think after our work over the last few weeks on just one tiny section of policy, we see how involved and time intensive that work can be, so we want to do it right. So we'll be also making one small policy change here tonight, hopefully for finance, and then incorporating the other changes next month, or if the policy committee can't get to it this month, then the month after.
So I haven't seen them yet. When did you send
Yeah,
those?
This afternoon.
Oh, okay, I haven't
Yeah.
seen them
It
yet.
was 4 o'clock something.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
it was
Or
late.
something.
Okay,
It
I was
late.
like, you're telling me about
It's
something
not-
that I haven't seen.
No, it's not a problem.
Okay.
It's exactly the changes that were in the June meeting minutes.
Okay.
But they're within the policy
But,
itself.
but we
in
put them
red like you
into
do.
the policy,
Yes,
so
okay.
it's easier for you to see.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I will look at them
Yeah,
before
it's
Friday
not
then.
a- Yeah.
And make sure that, did you send them to Lynn or just to me?
Just you,
Okay, I will
You
send them
want
to
them to?
Lynn. I'll make sure, well, because she's on the policy committee.
yeah, but she doesn't get, are you getting your emails now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
And a splendid teacher.
I
Okay.
just, so that we can have time to look at those before Friday,
Sure.
tomorrow. Okay.
First Thursday, thank God.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I have tomorrow to look at them.
Okay. Okay, we are then, up to old business and the AEP audit.
Oh, that's okay.
Go ahead.
I just, no, not now, never mind. Sorry, I was out of order. Literally, on my list, out of order.
Okay, the AUP audit, I had sent you guys a report on that, basically. And for those here, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but basically it just outlines what has been going on with that since June. The different auditing firms that were talked to or contacted, consulted, and so forth, and narrowed it down to 2. We got bids or estimates from 2 of them. And how this worked was I sent them out to board members, and then each of them, if they wanted to, replied back to me with their thoughts and their input, and so forth. And then we also, I came in and talked with Yana a couple of times, and basically one of the audits that we got an estimate for just really was not quite what we were looking for. It was more of a advisory service, consultation kind of thing, and much of what they offered to do for us, Yana is able to do. So, so then we looked at the other one, and the other one is with Lauterbach and Eamon. I spoke with them extensively about a lot of this. We, discussed what's going on, what changes have happened even at this point, and they came back with an agreement, an agreed upon letter, which all of you got. We had a few further questions about that, and I did, I hope you guys got, just in the last day or two here, was an additional information from her, from Jamie, because we asked for some clarification of, Lynn asked what the blended fee, how they came up with their fee and so forth, and so she explained all of that. You guys have all of this in your packet. So I guess what it comes down to is I feel that we are ready to move forward with this. And so I move that we, the Board of Trustees, accept the engagement letter from Lauterbach and Eamon that's dated on the 12th, and we begin the process.
I second the motion.
So is there discussion? Anybody have questions? Are we?
I have a couple questions.
Yeah,
'cause I
please
got-
do. Yep.
You answered one of them for me about the blended, but I've had just curiosity whether it's this company or another company. How long, have they said anything about how long it takes?
Oh yeah, that was one of the things that was in this email. And, okay, you didn't get, this was just in the last couple days here. And basically it says,
I think it said 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think. Thought I
4 to 6
remembered,
weeks.
yeah.
Okay.
2 to 3 weeks to review the work papers and draft the actual findings report, and overall, I would expect the entire process to last 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay. Why are we going back 4 years? I mean, is that something they said they needed, or that's something that we want?
I think that gives us a pretty good scope of what procedures we were using, and of course, if there's something that they do find that they want to look further, they can do that. We will, be in constant contact and communication with them on the status of things. The reason I sent out, like 2 months ago, I sent out a survey asking everyone, what years do you think do we need to include this past year? Do we go back to 2015, which kind of encompasses the whole ComEd kind of thing and some other issues. I'm going to be honest with you, we can't change, I mean, you guys all know that, we cannot change what happened in the past. And we can't go back and say, well, we shouldn't have done this or shouldn't have done that, or things should have been done differently.
We know.
With regard to the ComEd in particular, today a question was raised. And I believe I actually did answer this at a previous board meeting when I talked about the ComEd. But we do have the ComEd deposits that were made to ComEd in bill format. Did you see them?
I have seen them. Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
have
saw
seen
them
them.
the other day.
Yes.
And I believe I showed that packet to you as well.
Oh, I
but
realize there were
yeah.
checks written to cover that deposit, yeah, obviously. It had to
Right,
been.
right, exactly.
And then the refund
And so
of the
going-
deposit on hand was deposited accurately.
Right.
Right.
But,
So going back to that period of time with ComEd doesn't
Right. Well,
inform
the
us.
question with the whole ComEd thing is how were those checks generated and how was that deposit made without the board being aware or the bookkeeper or somebody being aware that there was $5,000 of excess money in that ComEd account?
And it was done over a period of months.
it was broken up, the
Right.
$5,000 was broken up.
I realize
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
I'm not
that's-
arguing
And so
Yeah.
that's, yes.
So that means that there was some procedures not followed correctly, that it was able to be done
Right,
without. yeah.
exactly, because
But
Absolutely.
How do you
the other
write
thing
extra
about this,
checks
though, we
for-
are talking about time period that we're not gonna
That,
cover.
yeah,
Right,
that's not
right.
in there.
So,
Yeah.
yes, because that's the point. We can't change that. Obviously, I think we're all very aware that a lot of mismanagement, very, very bad mismanagement.
Well, and with regards to the late bill payment, like you say, we can't go back and correct something that was done under a director or by a director that is no longer here.
True, but
Some of
she
the
wasn't alone.
True, but the specifics of paying bills was her responsibility. So some of the procedural things, I don't even know how they would audit that because she's not here to question, and we didn't have a written down procedure, so I don't know how they will even look at those procedures.
Well, if nothing else, they will be able to recommend what procedures we should have in place then.
and
That's
that's why
part of
we're
it.
looking at current year too, correct me
Right.
if I'm wrong.
Right,
Because
because-
I have
Yeah.
full faith that Yana's doing correct procedures.
Right.
And in our brief discussions that we've had, I have full faith. As we've talked before, one of my questions is, well, okay, if we didn't do procedures right before, that's awful, but what does it change now? But we had a good discussion on that point too, and you know.
I still have a few little things.
Yes, she
to
does
ask
have a
about.
list, so let's not forget Liv.
Okay.
Yeah, don't let me
Go
forget.
back to your list.
That, with the audit. Oh, wait, I gotta look at my little notes. We're buying who do we answer to, or who does the company answer to? If we wanna talk and say what's going on, just if you wanna chat, I don't think chat is, but to say what's going on, give me an update.
Oh, Jamie, this person right here.
So you have
Jamie is-
direct comment,
Oh, yes.
conversations with Jamie.
Yes, I have spoke with Jamie very often. It is a team that she would send here to.
Physically, they would be here?
They would be here, they would come and go through, and this is where, I would like to say that the bringing on boarding the temp worker that, gal Allison, that cleaned up all the files and everything is fantastic, because when I told Jamie that, you know, someone was assigned strictly just that job, basically, and that now she is actually employed by the library in here, she said that's wonderful. That will expedite things substantially, because she knows where the files and the bills and the paperwork and so forth is that they need in order to do this audit. So I would think that she said she would, you know, they form a team, that would include, I assume, of course, Yana, and then someone here like Allison that would be substantial in pulling those files and working with them. And then they take them back and they spend a few weeks going through, and there may be times that they will need more information. And again, that's where you have your contact and so forth. So yeah, I mean,
The specified or identified vendors, did you get a list of the identified vendors in that addendum?
I asked her in that email, I said, could you include the actual identified vendors in the letter, and in parentheses I put AT&T, ComEd, Visa, Pitney Bowes, and Waste Management. And that's the vendors that were on the survey that all of you guys did and looked at, and you listed in order of which ones you felt were most important to focus on. Her response to that is that this seems to be very restrictive as to what vendors, but happy to add if you would like. So that those specific vendors can be added into the agreed upon, or the engagement letter, if we choose to put that into the wording.
I think I read too that there's, oh gosh, never mind, there's one station.
That's okay.
So leave it off.
So anyway, so I think this is past needing to be done. I mean, I don't even really know where to begin.
Well, I think part of the issue is the fact that, I mean, I signed the petition for a forensic audit and felt like that was the only way that we could go. And now that we know that much of the information is in the hands of the authorities, in legal hands, that the forensic audit is not where I think our library needs to spend the money. I know Becky said this evening that there was someone within the community who was ready to pay for that. That was the first that I had ever heard of that. I know that they charge, I mean, what did you say in your Q&A?
Around, could be $20,000.
Yeah, but it's, you know, $300 to $500
Yes.
an hour
Yes.
for a forensic audit. Now, Lauterbach, this auditing firm, is required and is in part of the letter that if they find illegal activity, they are bound by law to bring it forward. So it's not like we're shirking our duty on trying to look for anything that could possibly be illegal, even though we don't know if it's there for sure.
I think we have to, as a board, be very careful to.
Oh, yes.
To not state things. We don't know, we have
No.
not seen any evidence that
We-
anything is there, period, thus
And-
far.
And that information as requested by legal authorities has been given to them for them to analyze. I mean, as they request, I mean, they wouldn't be doing it just to stack in the corner.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we can't,
Genuinely.
We can't assume anything.
We
Can't
can
assume
infer a
anything.
thing
That is
because
true.
in a previous position, I was a police commissioner, so I'll just leave it there.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I wouldn't infer that.
So originally, when there was a statement that this was a $7,000 cap. And now it appears to not be a cap because there's a 30-day written, notice. And I'm assuming that during that 30 days, they could continue billing us. And so that's not a cap at all of 7,000.
No, it says
It
that
says it will-
we will
We can't-
notify prior to performing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is in the letter now. That is,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
will.
okay, okay.
It
We
is
can
in the
tell them
letter.
next step. Okay.
Should,
yes.
additional testing be warranted based on our procedures above, we will notify the districts prior to performing additional duties. So they will notify us. So it's not really a hard cap, it's a stop.
It's a stop.
It's a stop,
Okay.
you know, and then they'll get to us. I think that should answer your question. I had that concern too. I had that concern.
Given that ComEd, they'll see late bills, I'm not sure that there's a lot of information, new information to be gained by having them look at the ComEd bills
Well-
and determine that we paid them late for those years.
Does it help us answer why they were paid late? And does it, then they need to look at the procedures that we went through to pay them? Was there not
Dual credits, or I'm sorry, dual controls, there wasn't, obviously, because
something went wrong, we need to figure it out so it doesn't happen again?
what, I'm sorry?
Said the board president wasn't sitting on her to have her get her job done.
Well, I think one thing we'll find is, yes, whatever, and we'll do, happened back then, okay? I have some misgivings about this because I don't want to put more on Yana and her staff, okay? But I think this would help us say, okay, yeah, stuff happened there. We already know this. But I think in the end, this money would be well spent. Say something happened there, which is not happening now because our procedures are this. This is how I'm approaching it. Do I want to spend up to $7,000? And I told you this directly. No, I don't. I think it'd be spent better. But it is, and when we look at our full budget, a small percentage. So I would do it just to kind of prove us.
To
I
clean
like-
the slate.
to kind of clean the slate.
And give us a starting point of, okay, from here going forward. And that's the thing, we need to start moving forward. We're kind of in a stuck mode, and, I feel for Yana and for all the staff here. They have been bogged down. I want them to get to a point where they can go back to doing the job that they love doing and running the library, and not have this cloud over their head, this whole situation. And I feel like by doing this, it shows to the community that we're not dismissing their concerns. We are doing our due diligence of looking into things and having professional eyes look at this. None of us here are qualified to do this at all. I'm not gonna be stupid enough to think that I understand even the audit that he did tonight, following those pages. Really? I mean, come on. So an accounting firm needs to look at this and know what they're looking at. This company has buku experience with libraries. They know what looks normal, what looks out of place, what should be there, what shouldn't be there.
And they will come here and carry it with them.
Yeah,
They're there.
they will take what they need, and yeah. And some of this very well can be even transferred electronically, because a lot of it now is available somewhat. But
What kind of report are we gonna get at the end of this? I mean, have you and Jamie discussed that? What kind of information are we gonna get out of this, so we can turn that around, present it to the public? Because this is my concern right now, is just, I wanna move on, I want the library to do library stuff.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can't be any firmer in that. I want the library to do library stuff, and our trustees to do trustee stuff, and let's move on, so next year we can talk about patrons and audio books. I'd love to spend 2 minutes on talking audio books.
Well, I sent
Yeah.
out, there was a sample of an agreed upon procedures that
Okay.
Lauterbach gave us. And it does kind of, just one
Okay.
quick area here. In this particular one, they did the cash receipt cycle. And they explained what the scope is, what the procedures are, the results and their findings, and then
Okay.
the recommendations.
That
All-
was at the end.
No, this is on each and every area that they're looking at.
This is what they will kind of present to us at the end.
Yes, this
That's-
is what we.
That's what I was asking, I was
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
understand
Yeah.
that I was,
Sample is what they will send to us.
okay, I
Yeah.
did see that sample, thank you.
Okay, yeah, so I mean,
But I was
we
trying to
get in
understand.
writing a report of what their findings are on each of the areas that we are asking them to look at and to analyze, or whatever you wanna call it, but, I'm very, very confident with this company, and like I say, I've talked with Jamie extensively about this. I will tell you that unfortunately, she said this happens more than we're aware. This happens a lot, not just in libraries, but in small municipalities, which they've done, fire departments, a lot of kind of things. It does, I mean, handling finances and money and so forth is difficult, and when you have boards that are volunteers, we are volunteers. And like I said, I'm not an expert in finances at all, I'm not an expert in anything, but, it happens. I'm not making excuses, I'm just saying that it happens. We can't fix the past, we can't change the past, but we can certainly address it, look at it, see where the mistakes were made, make the steps that we need to ensure it doesn't happen again, and start moving forward, and
Yana,
Get
do
it
you
done.
have any comment?
yes, please. That
Yes.
Do I have any comment?
What'd she say?
Yes.
we asked if she has any comments.
Yeah, I think I'm too new. I've only been here for a month and a half, and I don't know the whole history. I have an idea, but I haven't been through everything that you've been through as a board and as a community. I'll do what the board decides. But I really, I don't think I'm in a position to yes,
advise.
to offer
Yeah.
advice on what to do, because I don't think that I've been here long enough.
Okay. Legitimate statement, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I totally do. I mean, I appreciate that. Because without an understanding, it's hard to make a decision, and I think that's exactly what we're talking about here, is to get that understanding of what happened. We'll never really know why, but to know that what you're trying to implement and what you're implementing is working appropriately, and then we can show that and take that to community to, we
And the
want.
recommendations, I feel, will
Yes.
also help us with developing the policies that we need to do.
Yes,
This will be,
yes.
we start this will be done completely by the first of the year, and you were just saying about doing some financial policies and revamping that in the
Well, that was
first.
one of the reasons why I've been putting off on
Yeah,
that, because
this
if we
will-
choose to do this, that would certainly inform those things.
Definitely.
The other thing that I see is that there, the board all has agreed that money was not managed well. And what we want to do, but we've also heard rumors and speculation that there was fraud or money taken, and we have not seen anything like that. And so I would like to think that if we do something like this, we will put to bed those rumors.
Let's hope and pray.
Well, right, and certainly that's what I would expect
Well,
to find out, but you don't know, and you have to be open. That's why we don't have the same director now, is because we did find something that and it wasn't a financial thing, it was a performance of a FOIA that wasn't acceptable, and now she is not here. But to put to bed the accusations of fraud or theft,
absolutely.
that to me would be, and to put to bed the FOIAs, because they have been a burden on our staff's ability to run a library.
Absolutely.
What was your comment?
My comment, I've heard today that some members of the community insist on doing forensic audit. How would they accept this proposal? AUP, would the,
I have no idea. That was the first I heard of it myself. I didn't.
What's that?
Of paying.
Apparently, somebody
paying.
in the community has said they will pay for a forensic audit.
But it's also it's paying for forensic audit. We were not able to find any company that would agree to perform.
But yeah,
Right.
Because it's
you
not
gotta find a company
appropriate.
to do
Yeah.
this.
Right.
Right.
And I'm the
It's
new
on
guy,
the
so I don't
table.
know what y'all been through, but it
Oh,
looks like you
the
couldn't.
The forensic audit is dead. Margie came in and said a forensic audit was not in our best interest, the committee was killed, the issue is killed.
Okay.
You cannot go back.
And I think the posting that we put onto the website in the last week or so, I think is a good explanation of why, when we investigated it, that we found that it was not appropriate in the circumstances that we have. So we don't need to go back to that and recircle around why we're considering this instead. Several companies suggested something along this line to you. I
Yes.
Yeah,
remember.
three, 4 different ones at least.
And then a couple of them declined to give a
Even-
quote.
Yeah,
A bid,
even,
yeah.
Yeah, a bid, a quote, because they were not, one was down a couple of people, one
Right.
didn't feel like they had enough,
Mhm.
another
I
personnel
Sure,
or
I
time
didn't
to
want
do
to
it,
talk
so
over it.
they advised on it, but then did not bid.
right, yeah.
I guess I have reservations about the $7,000.
That's a
We
very,
budget-
very reasonable amount for this. I have talked to other people that, have maybe not done an agreed upon procedure, but for doing an audit of this scope and with this situation, 7,000 is not at all out of our ballpark. That's actually very, very low, very reasonable.
I agree with you on that, and I was questioning whether or not we have it scoped properly. Going back to ComEd, I like Visa, certainly, and I think there are some questions about our waste management things that could be very much informative to us. You know, I understand the ComEd bill is very important to people because of the weird things that went on back in 2015, starting.
Well, that was where the
Before-
area of
Yeah.
basically, if you wanna get down to it, illegal activity happened, because covering up part of a statement, a bill, and then presenting it for payment, and
Oh,
basically.
we don't know that that happened here. We don't know that that happened to us here. We were never able to, we can't determine whether or not FOIAs that were answered with covered up things. We can't answer.
Well, I was
whether-
told that the actual bills and invoices were unable to be found.
Yes, that is true. We never found them. So at some point they were gotten rid of. We don't know.
So when you saw the bills for payment, did you see those bills? Did you see the actual invoice?
I did see bills, yes, back at the time. Do I remember right now whether I saw copies or that I couldn't tell you. And I certainly didn't notice cover-ups.
Well, and that's
I
why
have
I feel
wondered
it
about
has to be
whether or
part
not.
of this audit. It needs to be looked at by accountants.
But we're not
But-
looking at that
But
date.
we're not looking at that.
Well, we're not even looking at that.
We're not, I mean,
Right, but
we
we're-
we did locate many of the comment bills. And we certainly were able to generate the last year or so
Well,
because of the online.
I feel because of the issues there that it should be included in this. And very well, and this is what
Well-
Jamie has said too, is that there, may very well be that they look at it and say, okay, what we have here looks very customary and normal, nothing to worry about, move it along, don't spend as much time as they anticipated, and move on to the next thing. It would be wonderful if actually this ended up not taking as long as they think, because all of it's there that they can see, and they can see that it's okay and it's fine, and especially that now we're doing things the way that we should.
And some of the files that we have, are looking at these things do include a lot of what they will want answers to. So I'm assuming we will also provide them with those files too.
We can pretty much provide them
With
with
anything
with
we want,
anything
yeah,
we want
exactly.
at this point.
With-
I'm going to call the question.
Okay.
Which one do you pick up?
Okay. Do we have
Yes, there's a motion on the floor. I'm calling the
Motion,
question because
Margie.
there's a motion on the floor made by Margie and seconded by me that we hire Lauterbach and Amen. I have it, Amen, sorry. The trustees accept the engagement letter from Lauterbach and Amen dated October 12th and begin the process of the AUP audit.
this is October 13th. This is one year supplemental.
The engagement letter from October 13th, 2021? Is that what you're
October
talking
12
about?
and 13, it was actually amended on the 13th.
Oh, okay, thank you,
Okay.
thank you for catching that.
All right.
Yeah, 13 is the latest one.
Okay.
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 October, dated October, well, let's get it right in the motion. 12 and 13, because there was an amendment on the 13th, correct?
Was it an amendment or a replacement?
It was more of an explanation.
Yeah, just a clarification.
Right,
so.
the engagement letter was from October 12th and the clarification on the 13th. Okay? Because the official engagement letter was dated October 12th, and then there was a question for clarification.
Wording.
Okay. All right. Let me get the roll call. Weber?
Yes.
Kinsella, yes. Hobbs?
Yes.
Appleby?
Yes.
Barstein?
Yes.
Grisheva?
Yes.
Free partner?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I know, it was over
Yeah, I know,
years
the
ago.
flag keeps going in front of me and I'm
Just
trying
say
not to
it.
make a scene going after it.
No.
It's slapping the table, you'd think I'm going crazy.
We're on to new business.
Yes, we're up to the tax
Thank
levy
you.
ordinance certificates and cover letter 2021. I need a motion to pass this ordinance.
Make-
Gives
set
me-
it aside and set it-
What, the ordinance?
Oh,
It's fat.
no,
Yeah, it's-
no, not that.
Lots of pages.
Ordinance number
21-05?
Yeah.
Yes.
4 pages, right? And then the signatures
Yes.
on the 4.
Yes.
I move we pass this ordinance 2105.
Are we passing just the ordinance or the cover letter and the certificate and
entire-
everything?
The
It's
entire.
all
The
as a
entire
package?
package.
The package.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Grisheva and seconded by Appleby to accept the tax levy ordinance certificates and cover letter 2021 as, ordinance number 21-05 as, stated in our packets. Grisheva,
Yes.
Appleby.
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Barcy,
Yes.
Kinsella, yes, free partner?
Yes. Okay, we need a motion to pass the proposed holiday schedule for 2021. We're going to speak to that.
No, I wasn't ready, I'm sorry.
Piece of paper tonight.
Because I did not see that in our
I
packet.
didn't see a
Yeah.
holiday schedule either.
Some of us got
Yeah.
it.
Anna
No.
was supposed to.
It's on the backside of us.
I don't have anything on
I don't have
the
it.
library
I
I
schedule.
haven't discussed it with Anna.
Okay.
Well, Anna talked to me about it, and it's just a formality, and then it gets sent on to Rails.
Right, but if we
But
haven't
we
seen
have to
it.
have the
But we have to
schedule.
have
And
the
you haven't
schedule in
discussed it.
hands.
Okay, we will discuss it at the next meeting.
Well,
I
it was supposed to be
move
done in
we
September.
tabled it.
Wait a minute, what?
I just have a question. Why are we discussing a holiday schedule for 2021?
22.
Well,
Should be
Christmas.
2022?
Yeah, no.
No,
just coming
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
They
and
haven't
Oh,
set the
Christmas.
schedule for this
Oh,
Thanksgiving
holiday.
and Christmas.
Okay, I got
So we
thought
really
meant
kinda
the
need to do it
holidays.
tonight.
It should have been done in September, so
Yeah.
it's
Okay, so
merely
let's-
a formality.
So,
It's
so
basically
is our next
schedule.
meeting before Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Then we'll be okay to do it at our next meeting.
No, isn't
correct?
that just a few days before there? You're talking about when
For the
our
year of next year.
Thanksgiving hours and our Christmas hours are going to be.
Yes.
Correct.
What's
Not-
typical?
I thought you meant our dates of holidays for
No,
next
no,
year.
no.
No, just what when the doors are open, basically, right?
So we're not, you're not ready to
I'm
do
not,
that?
I'm not ready to do that, sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll have time
Can
to do that.
can I
sometime.
move that we delegate the authority to set the holiday schedule to Yana?
I'll second that motion.
I will third that motion.
Yeah.
And nothing,
Absolutely.
I think it's,
Sounds
It's your,
good.
it's your ball.
Okay.
When-
And then
when-
it gets sent off to Rails. is
Okay.
my
Yes,
understanding.
I think we can delegate that to Yana Safe.
I don't mean here.
Do we need a voice vote in there?
Okay, Mary moved and who seconded? I'm sorry.
Paul.
Oh, I did.
Okay. We can.
Sounds like
Mary moved
director
and
business to me.
Paula
It is
seconded
director business,
to
really.
delegate decision on the proposed holiday schedule for 2021 to Director Cedric.
All
Sounds
those
good,
in
right?
favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mary, would you speak to the check authorization financial policy?
Yes, we would like to immediately change, and so I move that the check authorization of our financial policy shall be effective immediately, changed to the library director, president, treasurer, and others as approved by the SPLD Board of Trustees are authorized to sign checks. So I need a second.
So you're wanting to change the policy,
To, just to allow Rich to be on, can we get a second so we can really discuss this?
I'll second
oh,
that.
sorry,
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Thanks,
yes, that was
okay.
out of order.
So,
That was out of order.
the problem is, if I'm out of town and Paul is unavailable, then we can't sign a check and send it out. So that's why we had Dawn on, basically because we overlooked the policy and interpreted at any rate as somebody authorized by the board. We authorized her not realizing it was slightly out of policy. So now we wanna change this policy to say that if we want 3 board members to be able to sign checks in case 2 of them are unavailable, then, or say Yana is sick and we have to do something and only one of us is available. We have encountered situations in this last 3 or 4 months where we absolutely would not have been able to pay the bills if we had not had gone on that check signing policy.
And
So
I,
that's what it basically is. We need another person.
and I don't have a problem with that. I'm wondering if we are going about changing it the right way is all. So you're proposing just changing the policy. You're not proposing that we put Rich on it yet, because we would have to vote on that as well.
That is
Right.
my next motion. That's a separate issue.
Did you, how was this discussed? I mean, there hasn't been a finance committee meeting since June.
It was discussed in it was discussed in June that we had to have that 3rd person.
Because you were
And that's
leaving in
how-
July,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it's been on the meeting minutes. We put it on here to discuss it.
Okay, so it was discussed with the finance committee in June.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we would have to, that would have to be, that
Right,
clause
we
would
changed
have to
the
be changed in the
policy.
policy manual.
Right.
That, but it doesn't, it just says a 4th person, basically, that's a board member.
It says others as approved by the board.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that could kind of rotate,
Trustees.
but according to what we have in the minutes, it would.
Right, that leaves it
Specify
more
who.
open instead of saying the other person on the finance committee, which is
Exactly.
probably a good way to write the policy.
Except that if you, again, you have to be careful you don't fall into the trap of you have someone who resigns from the board and they're on the second on the finance committee, and all of a sudden
Well, that's
Yeah,
why if
you
you
want-
leave it open, then you can appoint someone not on the finance committee to do it.
But it has
Right,
to be a board
right.
member?
Right,
I would think it would be a
Okay,
board
so we need to make
member.
sure that that's in there, that it should be
It
a board
is.
member.
It's not, it says others as approved.
Yeah.
Because there
and
are
I'm
some
not
boards.
saying-
There-
and
there-
the
there's
reason-
reasons
There's
to have
reasons for
others.
that, to leave it
Yes,
others,
yes.
because when we didn't have a director, we might have wanted to assign Anna to check.
And there are some boards that actually have a separate treasurer
We
that
could
is
have an
not a
outside
board
person.
member, but
Yeah.
they are an IT
Yes.
treasurer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good to
So-
know, I get that.
okay. All right, any other discussion? All right. It has been moved by Grisheva and seconded by Free Partner that the check authorization for our financial policy shall be effective immediately, changed to, quote, "The library director, president, treasurer, and others as approved by the SPLD Board of Trustees are authorized to sign checks." Grisheva,
Yes.
Free Partner,
Yes.
Barcy,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
and Kinsella, yes.
Okay, under policy changes, I need a motion to table.
Table the policy changes to the, I
To
move
the
we-
leaves of absence?
To the
To
leaves of absence, general unpaid leave of absence on the form.
I'll second that. I think it needs a little
Yeah.
more
Well,
tweaking.
to
Good
take to
word,
policy.
good word.
Yeah. Okay, it has been seconded by, or it's been moved by Grisheva and seconded by Appleby that we will table the medical leave of absence, general unpaid leave policies and form for a later meeting. To be discussed at a later meeting. All right, we will go to Grisheva,
Yes.
Appleby.
Yes.
Hobbs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Barcy.
Yes.
Kinsella, yes. Free Partner?
Yes. Okay, I need a motion.
I move that Rich Appleby be authorized to sign checks for the Seneca Public Library District.
second.
Okay, it has been moved by Grisheva and seconded by Barcy that Richard Appleby be authorized to sign checks for the Seneca Public Library District. Grisheva?
Yes.
Barcy?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Appleby?
Yes.
Yes.
Or you
Or you don't want
Or-
that? Kinsella, yes, free partner?
I could have said,
Okay.
yeah.
I was gonna make a joke and I thought, no, it should be a serious one.
Okay.
Should be a serious
Okay, it is 8:32, and we need to leave the regular session and enter into the executive session.
Yes, let's make, I'll
Do we
make
need
it.
a motion?
Do we need a
Yeah.
motion?
Motion,
I'll make the motion,
Moved.
let's
I'll
move
second.
along.
Apple-
Second.
Barcy? It's been moved by Appleby and seconded by Barcy that at 8:32 we move into executive session.
Do we need to note the reasons why in the motion?
Oh,
I believe
probably.
we do.
You do need to note it in the
Yes.
motion.
4, review of closed session minutes, 5 ILCS 2C21, and for employee and staff members, 5 ILCS 2C1.
Okay.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we have to ask our
Of the, where's the,
We could
where's
probably
the
throw that in the
recycle?
garbage.
What is that?
The draft,
of
since
the-
we have it bound.
Yeah, the
I
draft.
think we
Yeah.
should throw that away.
But there's two. God, I
Oh, I'm
hate
gonna
that.
keep that.
Keep that.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep
Or
that in
give
case
it
it
to
comes
you.
up.
You mean you don't have a file cabinet this big full of all your libraries?
I do.
Who moved and who seconded the
I
adjournment?
moved adjournment.
I know.
I
did.
second.
She
She
seconds.
Let's
Second.
go.
Okay.
So,
All those in favor?
You don't have to.
Aye.
not, I don't want.
Okay,
Monica,
if
get it
you don't
shredded.
want the Zabel documents, put them on the pile over here. Because there'll be public in to look at them. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that's true. Leave it there.
Which is fine.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.